Welcome to another episode of In the Nude. Today I want to talk about the art of being, getting more joy, more thrive. We have such a desire for thrive and joy, and why wouldn't you want more good, more whatever? But we have it in this perspective that like the there over there is going to be getting it to us. Like if we just get there, if we just get this fill in the blank, money, achievement, relationship, our kids acting a certain way, whatever it is, we have this viewpoint that like there is where we get those things. The more that I heal, the more that I go through this journey of becoming myself and loading off copings and all of that, the more I learn that joy, thrive, isn't there, it's here. It's in this moment, this exact, like living in this present moment, no matter what it looks like, no matter if it's negative, chaos, and here. It's learning how to be in this moment that not only gets us their feelings we're wanting, the joy, the peace, the contentment, the thrive, but it also changes and allows us to actually access almost like have you ever watched or read the book Wrinkle in Time, the tesseracting, where the timeline, space travel, like it's a wrinkle pulls up and you can just like jump from one. That's kind of how it feels like when you start learning how to be. You can tesseract to those theirs that you thought were so far away, and also that there that you think is like was at this place you just got to, it's now shot forward, like all things, right? Like whenever you hit a goal, you're like all of a sudden it's a new goal. Same thing happens. But like how you tesseract, how you make those jumps isn't by this focus of these actions, isn't by this focus of these doings, and like it's letting go and being. And if you're anything like me, that's like completely against like every part of how you've lived, counterintuitive, against seeming nature, like, but something I found is that's not actually true. It is now true, but it wasn't always true. Like, let me explain. If you watch kids, they are like masters at being. As they start to get older, less so. But like little kids are a master at being. My youngest is like a joy factory. He has so many things that like everybody has their issues, right? But the like huge strength that he has is the ability to find joy in any situation. I watch him and I'm in awe. Like it could be the most fugly, messed up, horrible situation that you feel like there could be no positive, and that kid's gonna find joy. He knows how to be in himself, with himself in the moment. He looks around, and instead of seeing like this list of things he finds these pockets, he finds these moments, he pieces together, he forges it for himself, and it's like magic to watch. But we had that once. Maybe not to the degree of his gift, maybe in a different way. But we had that ability to be, because I've watched all of my kids have it. And we lose it. We lose it to school and work. We lose it to, it's kind of like, I was talking to one of my kids and they were talking about why do adults not have imagination? And I said, actually we do. We just use it against ourselves. And they're like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, worry, anxiety. Those are imagination, but used against ourselves. And she was like, why don't they want to do imaginary games then? I said, well, imagine the only time that you use your imagination is to attack yourself. You're not cognizantly aware, but your brain is using that imagination and fueling it with your fears. You've lost the training ability, you've lost the cognition to make the choice to be imaginative. So it feels like so much work to do it. But then on top of that, there's an association bodily with your imagination towards those worries, those fears that you have. It creates this like brain-body barrier to be able to then use it for good. You have to like work through that. All that to say that we did have this ability, so it's coming back to the idea of being able to cultivate the nature we lost of being. And it's this scientific method of throwing spaghetti against the wall that isn't fun, but it's true with all things you. It would be great, right? Like it would be really nice if it was like math. Every time 1 + 1 = 2, and every time 2 + 2 = 4. But if it was that way, there wouldn't be so many books. There wouldn't be so many people talking about it. There wouldn't be so many people that you say something, you're like, that's so not true, because it's not true for you. I have found that there are things that work really well for other people, and I try them and I'm like, that was like way worse. When I first started healing, trying to be, one of the things people say is meditating. I found meditation extremely traumatizing. I would sit down and it would be like almost instantaneous panic attack. Like I can feel what it was like right now, thinking back to what it used to be like to sit and try to be quiet. That wasn't where I could be. I was so dysregulated, so in the middle of my nervous system, like and fight or flight for years, that that was not an option for me. And it was really frustrating because on every list, everybody said to meditate, and I tried to like force my way through it. I was like, no, I will do this, because I'm a type A person. I'm you give me a to-do list and I will do all of them. You give me a doctor's list and I'm that like, control much, right? Control issue, very much here. Working on it, okay? Working on it. But like, that's like my background of how I coped with stuff, right? Think oldest daughter vibes, but not an oldest daughter. But I was so like, I was going to do it, right? But every time I was pushing down my body, I was actively doing the opposite of what I was looking for. I wanted to have thrive and joy and be, because I knew, I'd seen, I'd read, I saw, like, science made sense of me having to be in this moment would get me more of what I was looking for. And so I was trying to force the list that everybody else said do to get there. Meditation, be still. But my body was responding and agitating, and I would try to like bully that ish down. I'd punch it, I'd push it away, I'd like suffocate all of the feelings, try to partition. And you're probably thinking you're an idiot, and I was. But I was so attached to the list that other people said that I was traumatizing myself further by doing something that's positive. Like, I can meditate now and it's positive, but I had to get to that place. And me pushing and degrading myself and punching myself down and trying to shove my feelings away did not help that process. It made it way worse and way longer for me to get to a place where I could meditate. The first thing I'm going to say is part of the art of being is choosing the art of science. Just try it. It's okay if it didn't work for you. It's okay if yours looks different. Maybe something that helps regulate you is like having these harebrained notions about wanting to know about a black hole and then taking an hour and digging into it. That is connecting yourself to your body, and connecting yourself to your body, which if you want more information about like that process and coming back to yourself, listen to my last podcast before this one, because I went into depth about, but like listening to those things can help you get to your body, and getting to your body and getting in your body and getting safe within your body and regulating your body. Those are all things that help you be able to do the being. Because there is this functionality of doing the being. And it's not the actionables, but it's the presence of mind to be able to not do the things that pop into your head, right? When I sit down and I want to be, the first thing that comes to mind is all of the things I should be doing. It's like the part of my brain that is so desperate to be loved and so desperate to be seen, valued, so desperate to achieve love and care that it is grasping and clawing at productivity. It is trying so hard and vying so hard that it won't shut up. It needs to do so hard because it's been trained the only way to possibly not get bad attention, and the only hope to ever possibly get good attention is by that productivity, is by that getting done, is by showing up to be worth something. I'm going to say the thing that you already know and you're trying to accept. You're worth everything and all things without any action. You're breathing in your worth. You can't add to it. You can't take from it. You are. It is. And that's not a hard and easy thing to just adjust in your brain. You can hear it and you can be like, okay, I know that has to be true, or I'm choosing that to be true. But going from your brain to it being metabolically something you actually believe, it's a whole process, and that's a beautiful process, and it's okay that it's not happening right now. And there's not something wrong with you that it's not happening right now. But I just want to reiterate, you're worth energy. You're worth love. You're worth being the first person who gives yourself that energy and that love. So the art of being is choosing to try things. It's choosing to show up at zero. We all start at zero, but willing to show up and make a fool of yourself. Willing to be that toddler that falls over 375 times in a day to learn to walk. That's what we're doing here. We're failing our way to learning. That's what learning is continuously failing and being, oh, that didn't work. Like, have Thomas Edison's filament situation 1,000 failures plus before he found one that worked. Like, if you haven't failed 1,000 times, all right, keep going kind of vibe, all right? That's the energy we're bringing to ourselves, loving ourselves, proving to ourselves, showing up unconditionally for ourselves. It's learning ways that help you be able to take that deep breath. It's finding ways that it helps your body regulate. There's so many ways to regulate your body and get it out of dysregulation. Not all of them will work, right? I can do a whole podcast episode giving breakdowns of different tangible physical things you can do to help regulate your body. If that's interested, please respond. Let me know that that's something you want, because I can give a whole entire tangible breakdown of ways and things that I tried, things that helped me, things that didn't help me, things that might help you. But regulating your nervous system is a part of the process of having to try to do the art of being, because if you can't be in your body because your body doesn't feel safe, you're not going to be able to achieve that be that you want. You're not going to be able to get that thrive you want, because you're still in this vibration. It's okay. You know those vibration plates that are viral on TikTok and everywhere? Oh, get these vibration plates, and no dicks on the vibration plates. Just you're standing on a vibration plate and you're existing in your life on this vibration plate. And you're constantly that's where you are, and you're asking yourself to hold a completely full glass of water and not spill it. You're setting yourself up for failure, and then you're denigrating yourself for it. Learning ways to help, even just in a moment, regulate your system enough that you can try to be is a first step. So if you aren't regulating your nervous system and you're completely dysregulated and you constantly feel like you're on the verge of anxiety or anxious energy or vibrating with energy, you're going to need to find things that help you regulate before you can try to do the being. That's one of my kids, when they wanted to learn how to ride a bike, right? They wanted to just jump on and go. But they needed to practice with a balance bike, right? They needed to learn how to pedal before they could put those skills together, right? That's what the being is, right? The being is taking a skill set of learning how to come to your body and calm it, and learning how to show up for yourself even when it's difficult, and combining the two of them. If you're not doing the different parts, you're not going to be able to do the being, right? You've got to stack on showing up for yourself, taking showers when you need to, even though you don't want to, showing up and eating even though if you don't want to, listening to when your body, paying attention and trying to hear when your body needs to go to the bathroom. As a person who was so extremely dysregulated, the only thing, I used to think that I didn't have hunger triggers, and I didn't have body, let go of your bladder triggers. I would just go from nothing to extreme urgency, it's DEFCON, whatever the bad one is, right? Part of that is living continuously in a stressed situation, continuously in fight or flight, continuously in this hyper alert external. I couldn't pay attention to my body because everyone else's body was putting me in danger. Everybody else's feelings was putting me in danger. And I'm still working on how to listen to my body. I'm still coming back to myself. But if you're in that place where those things are hard, that's a place to start, where you can and when you can. One of the things I started with was literally just making a schedule for myself of, I'm going to do when I drink this much water per day, and when I take my cup of water and I finish my cup of water, go to the bathroom, or whatever it is that works for you for your life. But I scheduled bathroom breaks to get on a regulated situation, to then start to try to pay attention when I was more regulated, right? Okay. If you are working on regulation, and you can have time frames where you're not feeling anxious, and if you're working on trying to show up for yourself where you can and how you can, you don't have to be perfect in it. There's no rival. These are just you're working on them. The arts of being, the things that I have found, is taking time to be in the moment, right? Feel the clothes that I have, and feel it both on my hand, and like really pay attention to what it feels like and where it snags, where you might have like a callus in your hand, or what it feels like on the inside versus the outside, and how your body responds to your own touch. Like really getting macro in an experience. Sitting, if you can, and taking a deep breath and noticing clenched or tense muscles in your body, right? And trying to release them, or trying to just pay attention to them if you can't release them, and just feeling and noticing. Those are things that helped me. Learning how to be with myself in feelings were a big benefit for me being able to actually be present. It's both a practice in being, but when you are with yourself, with your feelings, the feelings, they need you to just accept them so that they can just go, right? But it's in the going that comes this like calm, this contentment that allows you to just start noticing things. This contentment, this. I set alarms on my phone to remind me, hey, you may have gotten distracted by this to-do list. Let's take a second and ground ourselves in ourselves. Let's take a second and notice the things around us. Let's find 3 pretty things, glimmers in our life right this second. That's something that I found. It pulls me back. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes I'm too lost in it, but sometimes it does. It could be thinking of things you're grateful for that happened in the day. It can be noticing something that's around you that's literally just, there's a bright light, there's a sticker on the ground, a reusable sticker on the ground, right? Like it could be just noticing what's there, but it's playing with it. It's choosing to find the adventure in it. It's noticing that you're scrolling and then stopping and taking a breath and saying, am I doing this intentionally? If so, okay, I'm taking this in. I'm being cognizant of what's happening here, and I'm using it as a blessing to myself. If no, then be like, okay, what do I want to do intentionally? Setting it down. What do I want to do intentionally in this moment? I found myself in a default pattern. I found myself escaping in just going. And I'm losing part of my experience today by allowing that. Let's be intentional. We're going to come back to ourselves. What do we want to do intentionally right now? It's, you have kids or don't have kids and you struggle with playing for yourself, set a 10-minute timer and like do something you know you like. Listen to loud music and go drive, right? That's a big thing that I used to do, and I don't do as much now because I have kids and it's not as much fun, but like I can play a song and dance to it in my living room, and that's a little bit, it's not the same vibe. It's not the same vibe, but it gets me like, it's an access point. It's something I can do. It's starting with where I am, giving myself what I can. Or with my kids, I'll set a 5-minute timer, a 10-minute timer and be like, okay, I'm going to try to be present and engage and play with them, because I have found that play is extremely difficult for me with them and trying to get in their game. But it's most of the time it's because I'm holding myself back with this list of to-dos because I'm so focused on other things and the fact that it doesn't sound fun to me. But if I really just give myself into their experience, if I can do it, not forcing myself, like, but pushing myself, stretching, like when you stretch and there's that like barrier of like, oh, this is a little uncomfortable. But like when you let yourself just go a little uncomfortable, the next time it goes a little further, right? Like that kind of energy, not like the, like I'm shoving myself down and hurting ligaments in my legs kind of stretching, not that kind, but like pushing myself just a little bit and being intentionally present with my kids. It benefits them and it benefits me because I find the experience of playing with them the next time more fun. I also find myself noticing things about how they are and who they are and finding ways to enjoy what I can enjoy, like my kid, who's so good at being. It's a gift. It's so beautiful. But I want to be able to, and I want it for myself, this math, this 1 + 1 = 2, this 2 + 2 = 4. I wanted it so bad, and I want to give it. I want to have these like tangible steps, but all I can give you is these tangible scopes. It's the heart, it's the perspective of coming in and exploring with yourself. It's the heart of coming in and reminding yourself to be not in all of this. You know, you get that overwhelmed, that like so many things. It's pulling an Anna from Frozen 2, do the next right thing. It's what you hear when people talk about like their hustle culture in some level where they're like getting things done. It's focusing on the next right task, but there's truth in it. And all of those noise and the things you find not true, there's a tiny truth. There's a kernel that you can take and apply and forget the rest. When you're in this like, and you're wanting more, it's learning how to let go of all of it and just be in this next right thing. I don't need to worry about in 2 weeks. That's not this moment. Maybe in a couple minutes, it'll be in this moment to think through and make sure I've structured out all the things that need to get done and then prioritize so that I can do the next right thing. But it's just tackling the next thing. It's tackling where your feet are. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed and you can't be in this moment, and maybe that means that you straighten up just the room that you're in so that it's clear and less cluttered so that your body can feel more in control because it seized it in some tangible, silly way like cleaning so you can be. It's the next right thing. It's showing up and being like, you know what? I can't do those things. And being able to love yourself where you are and be compassionate where you are. Because even if you can't sit and you can't be and you're struggling with dysregulation, you can show up and say, you know what? It's fair. Look at the life you lived. It's fair that you don't feel safe. It's fair that your body is all over the place. It's fair that you struggle with anxiety. It's fair that you have this focus on fears. It's fair. Have you seen the life that you lived? It's fair. It's fair. You can sit with yourself and give yourself compassion. You can do that. You can sit with yourself and know because you've lived the same life you've lived, the pains that you went through, and just sit with yourself and feel it. That's something you can give. Start where you are with what you can. The more that I have found that I give myself compassion and grace and acceptance where I am, it doesn't mean I have to always like it. But compassion, grace, and love, where I am, the more the where I am shifts more towards the where I want to be, the who I want to be. I have tried most of my life to shame, to denigrate, to bully, taking the words and parroting in my head of what had been said to me, making new words with the same mentality of fears of other people's judgments. I did it and I was great at it in the worst possible way. And you know what it got me? Not the life I want. And it's difficult to break those habits and it's difficult to shift those things, but you're worth that difficulty. You're worth that energy shift. The more that I sit with myself and the more that I say, you know what? I see why you feel that way. It's okay. I'll sit with you. The more I say, you know what? I don't always like what you're doing. I don't always want you to be here, but I'm going to love you with where you are, to myself. The more that I let go of those coping mechanisms, I am in a place where my life, from an outside perspective, probably looks like chaos. It looks like I have no control. I actively, every month, don't know how I'm going to pay my bills. But I know very clearly that I'm in the place I need to be. And in that letting go of me trying to have control and me because I tried so hard, I hustled so hard. I went from being a trad wife that stayed home, like whatever wife, to being a single mom of 4 kids and having all of the bills and having the kids 85% of the time and feeling like I had to do and hustling so hard that I had very little sleep and I was so dysregulated. I'm trying to heal myself and change and reparent, and I placed everything on myself and burdened myself to a point of just like knowing it wasn't working, and I needed that to be able to allow. And I've been in what I believe called very specifically, divinely. I believe in God. You can believe in source or universe or inner divine, whatever you want to call it, but I feel very clearly called in this moment to allow, to rest, to learn to be. And it's been over a year of it. And outside, it doesn't make sense. Math doesn't math in my bank account. But every month, I can pay my bills. How? I don't know. I really don't. I've sat down and crunched the numbers, and math doesn't math. But it's provided for somehow. And I have learned to allow and let go of these grasps for control that I did for so long. And the more I release what I thought I could grasp control, because what I was wanting was security, right? With that grasp of control, I want security, I want safety. And I would grasp at it and grasp for these like wisps of nothing and get a cage and get fear and get chaos. The more I release it, the more that I just let go. I haven't felt as safe. I haven't felt as secure. I haven't felt as content in my life as I have in not knowing how I'm going to pay my bills. That sounds insane. But that's the level of when you do it, when you start giving into the, okay, following what you know. Maybe you're not at a place right now. Maybe you're in the stage that I was. I had years of hustling my butt off. I needed that. I was so dysregulated. I couldn't have, if I had been asked of that, if I had been told this is where I'd be 2 years ago, I would have probably had a anxiety attack that had lasted for weeks. The amount of fear and I couldn't have been there. I needed to go through the hustle. I needed to burn out. I needed to grasp, and I needed that. That was part of my journey. And I'm now here in this place. And wherever you are on that expanse of your journey is beautiful because you need to be there. You are where you need to be. And I know sometimes where you need to be right this moment isn't pretty. I have been in so much ugly in my life. It isn't always pretty. And I'm sorry. That sucks sometimes to be someplace and someone tell you this is where you need to be because it's where you are. And you don't want to be where you are. I get that so forking hard. But it is in embracing where you are. It is in not saying it's good. I've used this analogy before because it really helps me. There's spilt milk on the floor, and no matter how much you say, I don't want it to be there, no matter how much you say, I wish the milk didn't spill, no matter how much you say it shouldn't have spilled, somebody else shouldn't have knocked it over, and I shouldn't have to clean it up. It doesn't change that there's spilt milk on the floor. I've been in my life where I'm sitting in spoiled, rotten milk on the floor, and I'm so busy with shoulds. I'm so busy with woulds. So busy with blame, so busy with wishes, that I'm still sitting in the spoiled, rotten milk seeping everywhere and angry and bitter. And it didn't change until I let go of whatever was to blame and I took the responsibility of the fact it doesn't matter. It sucks. It's unfair. But it is. No matter who spilt the milk, I am in it. And if I want me to look different, have got to clean it up. And I've got to figure out how that looks. Am I going to get up, leave the mess, and leave the area, change clothes, and move on? Am I going to go get a rag? Am I going to clean up the mess on the floor? Am I going to scrub my clothes so they don't smell? Am I going to wash all those things immediately? I get to choose what that cleanup looks like. I get to choose what that moving on looks like. But it isn't until I accept and deal with what is that mess. And I have had so much mess in my life. So this is coming from a place of, it's hard. It sucks to be in the spoiled milk. And it sucks so hard when somebody else spilled it on you. You didn't ask for it. You didn't want it. You said no. And it happened anyway. I'm sorry. But you are worth the love, the effort, the energy of stopping, looking at all the other people that made this happen, and help yourself where you are. You're worth it. And I can say that as a person who didn't feel worth it. But in that spoiled milk, I had kids. And maybe you don't have kids, but for me, I'm really grateful because I wouldn't be here if I didn't have kids. I wouldn't have. And I was sitting there in my spoiled milk, and I knew that no matter what I felt like I deserved, no matter how much I wanted to give up, I couldn't let my kids sit in the spoiled milk that other people created, in the spoiled milk that I created. And I had to do something. And I'm going to be that person that points to you, if you don't have those kids, to help you have the motivation. You are worth you picking yourself up. You are worth you cleaning it up and finding a way to move on. You are worth taking the time, even if it wasn't your fault, but it is your responsibility. You are worth it. The energy and work and effort and love and care and unconditioned, you're worth it. You are worth showing up for yourself. Why? Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I take the energy to clean up this mess? Why wouldn't I love myself? Why wouldn't I care for myself? Why wouldn't I? You are worth it. This journey is chaotic and individual, and it's hard to see it as beautiful in the beginning, but you're worth it. And the more that you show up for yourself, the more you can start seeing the beauty of you, and the more you can start seeing beauty in this process.